Attorney Lawrence, do you have questions for this witness?
I do, and I'm sorry, President Gladney. I will try and get you. Mr. Gladney, it's going to be hard to get used to. I will try to make it as quick as I can because I know you have been through a lot so far today. Just to clarify a few things, on what date were you made a sergeant?
October the 22nd of 2019.
And what was your assignment at that time?
Before that, I was a deputy on second shift. I was the mitigation unit. And then when I got promoted, they left me on patrol, second shift sergeant.
Thank you. And you said you were union president for 6 years. When did that begin?
That started in 2017.
Thank you. Let's talk about, there's a lot of testimony about the union board voted to impose administrative sanctions against Mr. Lucky. Do you recall that?
Yes.
I'm going to share my screen. Well, actually, first, Agmelia. Can you see that?
I'm still waiting. Yes.
Can you tell me what this document is?
That's a document from the department, I believe it was the DWB, the state of Wisconsin, Lucky filing a complaint. I think that's against the union, I believe that one was. Or is that against the MDSA? Yes, that's against the MDSA. Yep.
Okay. So in fact, Mr. Lucky sued the union, did he not?
Yes.
Would it be a conflict for the union to continue representing him in matters related to his lawsuit against them?
Did we get this in evidence?
This is being offered in rebuttal, counsel. So no, it will need to be marked as a new exhibit, and I will mark it as Respondents Exhibit 31 for admission. Your Honor, we would actually ask that Respondents Exhibit 31 be entered into evidence.
Well, you're going to send me a copy of it or what?
Well, you do have a copy of it, but yes, I will send you one.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to wait to see it before you?
Until I see it, I'm going to object.
Okay.
All right.
We'll stop with that one there for the moment. You said that you suggested that Lucky be moved to the courts division from patrol because he'd be among peers who could help mentor him.
Correct.
Could you tell us why you thought that would be important?
For him as a young deputy, I believe if he was around more of his peers, he would be able to learn. He can be mentored. He can be coached up a little bit better. And Lucky would have been a great deputy. And the path, I think if he were moving him from one situation, maybe putting him back over into the courts, it would help him develop and grow.
In what kind of ways did Deputy Lucky need to be coached up?
In my opinion, because he was somewhat younger and, maybe being with a veteran deputy who's been around a little bit longer can help him navigate through the sheriff's office. It helps him navigate through life a little bit better, and instead of saying, let me think about this a little bit more, maybe I should have did this differently. If this wouldn't have happened, maybe I would have did this differently. Make him have more cognitive thinking, so to speak.
Thank you. And I keep calling President Gladney. Sorry.
No problem.
You testified that you were at second shift on patrol until you left. When you left, was Charles Stowers captain of that division?
When I left patrol division, me and Captain Stowers both got transferred. He got transferred over to the civil process unit. I got transferred over to the airport.
Okay, but Charles Stowers had been the captain over patrol. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And what race and gender is Charles Stowers?
Charles Stowers is I believe he's a 47-year-old, 6'4" black male.
Very specific. Thank you.
Mhm.
We had a couple of discussions, we had a few rounds of discussions about you calling Captain Novotny on August 14th after you forwarded the email chain.
Yes,
I guess to clarify, Mr. Gladney, is there a duty to self-report incumbent upon members of the agency?
yes,
When you called Captain Novotny, were you executing on that duty to self-report?
yes.
I think you testified on direct, and I'm going to share my screen again, that when I think it was Sheriff Lucas took over, or when Sheriff Clark left, that was his specific testimony, there was a change in the sexual harassment policy. Is that right?
Yes,
He said you thought you remembered reading something.
yes,
I have on the screen what is directive number 0818 issued January 18th, 2018. I'll scroll down so you can kind of review it. Let me know if you need me to go faster or slower at any point.
oh, you're
What
good.
exhibit is this?
This is an exhibit. It is being offered in rebuttal.
Rebuttal to what?
Rebuttal to his prior testimony about the change in policy.
What are you rebutting?
His prior testimony, counsel. Counsel, or I'm sorry, Mr. Gladney, does
Yes,
this
ma'am.
look like the policy you recalled reading?
Yes,
Okay. I would like to bring your attention to, this is the bottom of, apologize, bottom of page 3, it's marked, and then top of page 4. It's what's entitled 1.02303 reporting procedures.
yes,
Does that refresh your recollection as to where members could report incidences to?
yes.
Were members of the agency able to go to both IA then and HR, or just one or the other, or both?
It looked like it was just one of the, I think it was, they had to go to internal affairs when I skimmed over it.
Okay. Directing you to the top of page 4. I have
Oh,
to reshare. Sorry.
no problem.
Can you see that?
Not
It's
yet.
it's your background.
Yeah. What's that about? And this whole thing, I've lost all the buttons.
You definitely don't want to be sharing what you're sharing.
I wish I could not.
I mean, you want to unshare and then probably share again.
I can't unshare. There's literally no buttons.
Oh God, it's the worst. Do you have 2 screens?
Yes.
Possibly on it's orange.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Was just there. It's the worst. Good luck.
Yeah, there's literally no buttons that let me do anything. Yeah, I guess I will have to leave and come back.
I can tell you that sometimes they're hidden under that orange bar is hidden under another window. I've just recalled.
All right, can you all still see anything? I can still hear you,
You
oddly
can
enough.
see your desktop.
Yeah.
And until you push that orange button, I know from experience you can't get out of that.
Yeah, that's the PDF.
Right,
Can you
but
see that now?
we can just see your desktop, just the the window, blue window.
There we go.
It's blue.
Yes.
Yeah, we see your tabs, your start menu, and your
I can't even
background.
see that at the moment.
maybe leaving is the best solution.
I couldn't even find the button to stop sharing.
Oh, now you stop sharing.
Yes. Yeah, the entire button's totally disappeared. Yep, we're gonna try it again. Okay.
All right.
Okay. and-
So
And yes,
reading
it says
again.
on, yep, and it also says in internal affairs. And then members can also contact human resources or the employee relations hotline at 278-2000, 414-278-2000.
Thank you, Mr. Gladney.
Yeah.
And thank you for all of your patience Well, we handled that technical difficulty. All right, hopefully I have stopped sharing now.
Yes.
Okay. Mhm. You were asked some questions on direct about having filed complaints against, or made complaints against Lieutenant Sawchek and Sergeant Byers on behalf of Mr. Lucky. Can you identify what type of complaints you made and when you made them?
I believe Lucky wrote this stuff up, and I don't know if they were grievances or what, but I don't believe he did all the writing and the emails and stuff like that to the higher ups. And I just got it after the fact or CC'd in the emails.
So is it possible that these are the June 2020 email that we've
Yes,
all been talking about?
yes. And that's what he sent that to Chris Narich. Myself was CC'd in it, and he also sent it to deputy inspectors. And I talked to him about that, say, hey, follow the chain of command so you don't get in trouble.
Thank you.
Mhm.
There was some testimony in your direct about Mr. Lucky being sent for a fitness for duty psych evaluation
Yes,
based on an inappropriate statement. Were you present when he made that inappropriate statement?
yes.
Do you recall what it was?
It was a recent shooting. It was a most recent shooting. An employee shot some employees, and he said something to the fact of, y'all should have learned from that shooting. And that triggered the fitness for duty and all that because of that statement and how he was when I say all over the board, he would talk about high school. Then he'd talk about how he was born in a church home. Then he'd talk about when he was in the academy. Then he talked about when he played basketball in high school. Then he talked about, this. He was, like I said, he was just all over the place. And then when he made that comment, Stiff looked at me and I'm like, oh boy, this ain't good. And then at the end of that interview, the last statement that was made was, how can we make you better? Something like that. And, and then I made the comment, well, don't answer that, Lucky. I'll answer it. He might be a miserable son of a bitch walking around here, but when we see y'all and his pockets got the mumps, his pockets will be happy. And then when I told him that we were possibly sue, then I knew that Lucas at the time didn't want to be sued and didn't want his name entered in any lawsuits. So when I found that out, I used that to our advantage. And when I used that to our advantage, it seemed like the administration, shortly after we made that statement, his fitness for duty, I told him how to chronically put his thoughts together. And then after that, shortly after he had an interview, he was back to work right away.
The comment he made about the employee shooting, was that the Molson Coors incident?
Yes.
And do you recall approximately in time how recent that had occurred?
Oh, if I'm not mistaken, because I was on that SWAT call up for that. It was, I'm going to say it was real, maybe a couple days prior or just recently happened. It was real fresh. It was extremely fresh.
And do you recall what exactly Mr. Lucky said about the Molson Coors shooter?
I don't recall 100%, but me and Stiff both took back about it. I'm like, oh boy, this ain't good. Or something. Yeah, it was. I know it wasn't good.
So you testified on direct that you thought it actually could warrant termination. So would you agree that a fitness for duty psych evaluation was warranted based on that comment?
Yes.
Based on Deputy Lucky's comment is what I meant.
Yes, on his comments, yes.
Did you ask Inspector Smoot to open an IA case against James Lucky for recording you?
No, I did not.
President, Mr.
This fine.
Gladney,
Yes.
habits die hard. Did you ever find Mr. Lucky difficult to mentor or supervise?
Yes.
Can you explain why?
Well, for me, I try my best. I've worked with a lot of people and try to mentor a lot of people. In trying to mentor Mr. Lucky, it seemed like he didn't believe what I was trying to help him with and trying to help him get through things. It was just very difficult. Everybody's picking on me. And I'm not trying to say he was acting like the victim, but it seemed like he was always the victim. Even if I try to talk to him and yelled at him or try to be a little bit more stern, he got offended by it or took it like, oh, you ain't on my side. You signed with somebody else and you're not with me. And you had to be with him 100%. If not, you're nobody to him.
And you supervisors talk, you hear other deputies talk. Was there general consensus about what it was like to have Deputy Lucky on your team or on your division?
A lot of people didn't like him. They didn't like him. They didn't want, if they were sector partners with him, they didn't want to be a sector partner because of an incident that he was in a roll call, basically telling people not to show up at a roll call. And when I was at a deputy, because the deputies were on the air too much and not coming to scenes, I'm like, I pretty much told him, hey, if you don't come to my scene, there's going to be a problem. Y'all need to come help me, if I'm asking for help. And then he in turns on a first shift tells people don't help him. So it was difficult for people. And when you hear the different stories where he's saying this person is racist or this person did this or this person did that, it was like, wow, that person is mild-mannered and meek and barely say anything. And now you're saying that they're picking on you and yelling at you, and which is different, because out in patrol with the ambient noise and the cars whizzing by and the trucks whizzing by, you might have to speak up a little bit and speak a little louder.
Mr. Gladney, is it fair to say that James Lucky was difficult to supervise?
Yes, because when he was under my supervision once, his supervisor had left for the day and he wanted to leave, but he started the crash and wanted to leave, and he looked at his watch and looked at me. I looked at him back like, okay, what are you doing? You started it, you got to finish it. This is yours, and he didn't want to, pretty much wanted to tell the other deputies, hey, this is your job, not mine, and you try to tell him, hey, don't do this. He was looking up, seeing where other deputies were at and stuff like that. And he was being told several times, don't do that. If you're sent to it, you do it and handle it, but, he didn't do that.
So it sounds like it would also be reasonably fair to say that he was difficult to work with as well as a coworker.
Yeah. I didn't work with him, so other folks that worked with him said he was difficult to work with.
Mr. Gladney, I appreciate your time and patience here today. I have no further questions at this time.
All right, thank you.
All right, Attorney Cross, do you have redirect?
Sure do. So, did you discuss your testimony here today with Ms. Lawrence at any time?
No. Initially, when they first said that this was coming up and asked me some questions, and that was about it. And I haven't talked to Attorney Lawrence since.
Okay. She asked you some questions. Anybody else?
No.
Okay. There was a couple of questions that I've got based on statements you've just made here. You said in response to Mr. Lucky being put off duty that you threatened lawsuits. Is that right?
It was a threat. It was a bluff to get them to get off his back, and it worked. Because I know Sheriff Lucas didn't want his name to be in lawsuits.
Right.
And I found out about it. Once I found out about it, I used it to our advantage.
I can absolutely appreciate that. So then you said there was a phrase that you were using though There was something about money or getting paid, and I just can you repeat that because I didn't quite get that.
So basically what I said, to basically was saying, hey, don't answer that question. I think Stiff asked a question similar to, what can we do to make you happy? And I told Lucky, don't answer that question. I said, you know what, to make him happy, he may be coming to work, or I'll use some expletives, but he may come to this work, be upset. But once we sue you and his pockets are fat, his pockets will be happy as I don't know what, or something like that.
I got it. Okay.
And it was just a good bluff.
No, I get it. It was the phrase there that you were using that I think was.
It was slang. I use a lot of slang when I talk to internal affairs and stuff and people.
Believe it or not, we've heard a lot of slang from other witnesses. So I was just trying to see if they match up. Will you accept that?
I don't know how somebody said something about me, but I don't know.
Okay. No, we're just talking about slang. Okay. So moving on, if I can, part of what I'd like to know, why at the end of this conversation with Mr. Stiff, and this is the same one, excuse me, that Mr. Lucky makes this comment allegedly about this Molson Coors shooting, right?
Yes.
Okay. Why are they saying at the end, we want to make you happy, or what can we do to make you happy?
I can't answer that because I don't know why Stiff asked that question.
Okay.
He was the lead investigator for it, so I don't know why he said that.
And what was besides relieving Mr. Lucky of his law enforcement powers, what was the purpose of this meeting?
They wanted to hear his complaint.
Okay.
His
And can you
complaints
remind us
about
what
stuff.
complaint we're talking about?
The bullying complaint, the email.
Okay. So he files a bullying complaint.
You cut off counsel.
You were frozen, Attorney Cross.
We cut out there?
Yes.
Yeah, you were frozen.
I'm sorry. It looked to me like you all were frozen. So I will repeat that then. When Mr. Stiff is asking, what can we do to make you happy? Was Mr. Lucky's law enforcement powers taken away at that time?
I believe so, but not 100%. I don't think it was. I'm not for sure. I think it was shortly after that, but I'm not 100% sure. I think it was after that because it had to be after that complaint that he sent out. Because I was out on the road when I got called back. He called me in.
Okay. But it's fair to say, whether it's a bluff or not, that in response to this Miller Coors, this alleged remark and them taking his law enforcement officer powers away, you stated at that time that you were going to sue them, right?
As a bluff, yeah. I wasn't going to sue.
Okay. But that's just because you didn't have well, I'll leave that alone. Now, we went through this policy here on self-reporting. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. And does that policy dictate that you have to call Captain Novotny?
In regards to
Self-reporting.
yes, if somebody makes a complaint, I self-report it. He sent the complaint to me. I forward it over, and I self-report it.
Okay. But so when forwarding, what did that mean? Did you forward an email?
Yes, counsel.
And then you also called, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you, by sending this email, that would have been sufficient to self-report?
I don't think so, because I think he needed to hear it. And when Lucky had a concern like that, I forwarded. I did exactly what I thought was the best thing to do. I reported it over to Internal Affairs, and then I sent it over to Human Resources. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that's what it was. Yeah.
But in fact, you called the head of Internal Affairs, right?
Excuse me? I called the person that was on call.
Okay. Who was Mr. Novotny, the head of personal affairs, right?
Yes, Captain Novotny was over internal affairs.
Okay. Now, what was the basis, if you recall, and I'm sorry I'm jumping back, I know that's not your preference. Threatening lawsuits, what was the basis that you were threatening?
I believe I answered it already. It was no basis. I basically knew that the administration at the time, and I believe the current administration, does not want their names. I know that particular that sheriff at the time, Arnell Lucas, did not want his name on any lawsuits. So with me knowing that and to put that out there, and I knew at the time Attorney Zillig was also didn't want that also. So I use it to our advantage to get him so they can, as he used to term it, pick on him to leave him alone. And for
I got
8
it.
months, okay.
No, I appreciate that, but to focus in on my question here, because I know you want to leave, is why what was the basis? Did you say, I'm going to sue you, or the union rather is going to sue you for no reason? Or did you say something else?
I don't believe I said anything else.
Okay, you just said we're going to sue you. Is that right?
I believe so.
You didn't say, for example, for race discrimination?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
But then this is while Mr. Lucky is filing a race discrimination and discussing his race discrimination complaint, right?
Yes.
Okay.
His bullying complaint.
Right, that's the one that you piggybacked your own race concerns on, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Great. We're clear on that. Thanks. Okay. So you had some discussion about an incident at a roll call, and I know we talked about that, but I guess I'm not clear. Mr. Lucky is standing. How is Mr. Lucky given this opportunity to speak at a roll call?
At the end of the roll call, they ask people if they have any. I'm sorry, Counsel, you're still speaking. I'm sorry.
To clean up my question, I said if you know.
The way it usually goes, I don't know how if was he still sitting. I don't know if he was standing. I don't know if he raised his hand. I wasn't there. It was told to me that he made a statement. And normally when somebody has something to say, after the roll call is concluded or the pertinent information is out to the roll call is done, the supervisor, sergeant, lieutenant, or whoever is running the roll call may say, do anybody have anything?
Okay.
And like for my roll calls, what I used to do is, anybody have anything? Instead of me saying, anybody have anything? That was Attorney Cross, you have anything? Attorney Lawrence, you have anything? Judge, you have anything? Each individual person I would go around and make sure they had anything. If they had anything, then it gets addressed and then or aired out or addressed, and then we have a discussion or a topic about it. And then if it gets out of hand, then the sergeant or the lieutenant or supervisor squashes it or tell them to stop it, and it need to be handled and close the doors or something like that.
Oh, that's a pretty big opportunity then, right?
It's a big opportunity. Sometimes it can be fun and jubilant, I can't even speak, or it can be downright argumentative and where people get feelings hurt and certain things can be said. And it's usually an open forum, but if it's that open, then everybody has the understanding that as individuals, you have the time to say what's on your mind, and there's not a time for arguments or anything like that.
Okay, but apparently that happens sometimes, other than this one incident, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I take it wasn't so much the argumentative nature of what at that time, it was what Mr. Lucky said, right?
Yeah, whatever he had said that day. Yes.
Okay, and what did you understand him to say?
Basically telling people, if you're not going to help me or back me up, don't come to my scene.
Okay. And then, so let's just focus on the first part. Do you know why he was saying if people, he was alleging that people weren't going to back him up?
That I don't know why.
Okay. Have you ever heard him say anything like that before?
To me, no. He said it to a roll call, which I don't know why.
No, but I mean, did he say anything like, people aren't, hey, union president, people aren't backing me up when I call for help on my scene?
I don't believe he said that, but it's a possibility, but I can't recall if he said it or not. It's a possibility.
Okay. So then, and I guess that's another thing I want to understand is, did he say for no reason, because you guys aren't coming, then don't come? Or did he state a reason?
I wasn't at the roll call, so I really can't. I'm just going by what somebody else said at a roll call, so I can't really say verbatim what he said because I wasn't there.
Right. No, that's all I'm asking, because I understand it's here. I mean, we're, to be blunt, it's hearsay, right? So we're just asking you what you heard.
That's basically what I heard. That, you know, he said not to come to this. If you're not going to back me up, not going to help me, don't come to my scene.
And it's that if part. Okay. And when you're a supervisor on first shift at that time, right?
No, I was on second shift.
Second shift. Okay. But you're a supervisor, right?
I was a supervisor, correct.
And you just like you use the vocabulary word, it was like team mentality or something like that, to describe how the patrol operates.
When you're on patrol division or anywhere in law enforcement, it's a team concept. It's all about the team. With me being ex-military, everything's about the team, right? If there's a messed up link, the team is affected. So everything's about the team. Everything's about the team.
Awesome. Okay. So when you heard of those complaints, when he said, if you guys aren't going to back me up, what did you do to investigate those statements when you heard that?
Nothing. He didn't bring it to me, and it was just basically hearsay. And I'm like, I was a deputy at the time, and I'm like, what is this about? And I just had in our roll call, get off the air if y'all stop playing on the air, because if you don't back me up, it's going to be a problem. Y'all need to come back people up and stop hiding around. And for him to say it's the total opposite, it throws everything off. Because everybody should be backing you up. Even if they're not going to do anything on the scene, they should be backing you up regardless.
Okay. And as in law enforcement, it's pretty serious if you don't get backup, right? There can be significant consequences.
It can be, you can die. It's death.
Right. Okay. And I don't mean to belittle that at all. I just need to get you.
I hope not.
No.
I truly hope not.
No. Okay. So then, okay. And then there was just some talk about that maybe he should be doing things differently, right? This is in your testimony to Ms. Lawrence, with Ms. Lawrence, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that you were counseling him and giving him that kind of almost
mentoring. I wasn't counseling. It was mentoring. I'm sorry.
Mentoring. Yeah. Okay. That's probably a better word. Appreciate it. Okay. So it was. I mean, but as we have seen, right, that part of the mentoring that you're giving him ultimately is not to file race complaints. Isn't that right?
That is incorrect.
Okay. I'm going to share with you the document here. You see this here?
Isn't this the same?
Yep, it sure is, right? And he says, I voted for you twice as president, and you are now here before, and all that. You see that there?
Is this exhibit 100, 102?
Yes. And just, can you show me anywhere where he's talking about the sexual harassment allegations about him, against him?
Judge, we went over this again, and now he's bringing it back up again.
I'm sorry, I missed the question that was asked of you. So I would ask Mr.
I
Cross
sure
to
will.
repeat
So
it.
my question is, because we had testimony earlier about this being related to the sexual harassment allegation. So ask them now to identify in this document where Mr. Lucky is talking about sexual harassment allegations.
Your Honor,
Okay.
he's arguing with the witness over matters that we've been over multiple times. I've
Yeah.
made numerous objections over this course of this hearing about how our Attorney Hitchcock Cross treats his witnesses. This witness has made his own objections about it. Can
Right.
we please stop?
Yeah, I think that is an argumentative question. Although I think the witness could answer if he's able to. And I think we all know the answer is no.
Correct.
Isn't stated in there.
Well, with that in
Don't say
mind,
anything about race either in there.
okay. Great. Well, thank you very much. I have no more questions.
Okay, is there any recross?
None, Your Honor.
All right, well, Mr. Gladney, I very much appreciate your time that you've spent here today. I know it was a long day, and I appreciate your time and your service.
Thank you. One other thing, Judge, they sent me a check, which I'm gonna send back to Attorney Cross's office. Is an inappropriate check. It has permanent marker on it, scribbled out, and my name is spelled incorrectly. So that they're aware, I'm sending it back to their offices.
Would you like a replacement check?
No, that's fine. It's $5. I can do without.
Okay.
Okay,
Thanks for that update.
all right, thank you, Mr. Gladney.
You're welcome.
You have a
Thank you.
good afternoon.
All right, I'll
Okay.
try.
All righty,
Lord.
enjoy your motorcycle ride.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
All right. Okay. It is now exactly 3 o'clock. What are the parties wanting to do at this time?
So, I mean, let's assume that tomorrow is Byers and Lucky. We could push on to do Smoot now.
For the
I'm
record,
exhausted and starving,
for the
so.
record, Sergeant Byers' subpoena is only for today and yesterday. She has not been subpoenaed for tomorrow. Is my understanding.
Okay.
I don't know how Your Honor wants to handle that.
Well, is she available today?
She is no longer on duty. Whether she's available or not, I told her she needed to be, so I suppose we could probably reach her. If we're doing Smoot, let's do Smoot, and I will reach her and see if she is available and willing to voluntarily testify tomorrow.
Okay.
Or not. Mr. Hitchcock, I'm not sure what the joke is. Would you care to share? Is there something
About
else?
the joke? No, I mean, it's true that we could call her it would be unfortunate to have to call her today.
Okay.
And I'd like to eat. That's the joke.
Okay. Well, do the parties want to take a break until 3:30 and come back with Lieutenant or whatever his rank is, Smoot?
Oh yeah, now Captain. Great, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you at 3:30.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.